Beyerdynamic's Blue Byrd ANC. Let's unbox them and see what's inside. Dave Taylor here, and I'm checking out this. This is the Beyerdynamic Blue Byrd ANC in-ear headset. These are brand new, and we're gonna unbox them and we're gonna check them out. So, to unbox them, I need my unboxing tool. Don't use these at home, be careful. Now, as I do this, I can tell you some specs too, because these are pretty sweet. This is the second generation of the Blue Byrd from Beyerdynamic, and these add ANC or active noise cancellation. And they have 10 to 28,000 hertz frequency response, which is honestly better than my hearing. And their total harmonic distortion is less than 0.09%, so they're really clean and crisp. They also work with the latest and greatest aptX adaptive, aptX, AAC, and SBC. So they have all these solid modern Bluetooth protocols so that they'll be able to negotiate with your device to give you the best possible sound. Also important, they're multi-point, so you can simultaneously pair them with multiple devices. Now, let me show you in the box. You open it up and you get this, and then we lift this up. And under here, let me take this off, are 5 sizes of ear tips. Now, I've already put on the ear tip size that I like, but I will tell you, it is super important that you take the time to try different sizes to get the ones that are perfect for you. And I also want to point out that there is an instruction guide underneath the case. So that is pretty important. You don't want to actually lose track of that. But I'm going to put all this back, because all the real action, obviously, is in its little hard travel case. And this is a pretty nice little case. It's super light, very easy to work with. And when I open it up, there is a charging cable on this side. So this is USB-C to USB-A. And then on this side is actually the Blue Byrd in-ear headset. So I'm going to take this out. And you can see it's what they call an around the neck device. So I actually really like this design because it takes a lot of the weight and complexity out of the earbuds and lets them just sit around your neck, where honestly, it's so light that you don't even notice you have them in. And you have the advantage of, if you're running or bicycling or doing something else that's very active, you can't really lose an earbud, because if one falls out, it has a wire, so it's easy to stay connected and stuff. That's very convenient. Now, let's see. It does have a typical multifunction control on the side here. So that's the 3 buttons: volume up, volume down, multifunction in the middle. It has a built-in microphone. We'll do a demo in a second. And then this side has a little clip, which is helpful. Obviously, you're going to take this little orange tag off. And then important to know is on this side, the left side, there's a button, and that controls power and that ANC. And there are 3 modes to ANC: on, off, and transparent. And you can also access that through the MIY app, which is pretty important. So let's see, we got 5 sizes of ear tips, Bluetooth 5.2. The microphone is using the Qualcomm CVC 8.0 protocol to try to remove and eliminate background noise. And it does a pretty good job with that. Built-in Alexa, Google Fast Pair if you have a Pixel or something, and that MIY app also gives you sound personalization. But let's see, we'll finish the unboxing. So we have the hard case, we have the charging cable, we have the unit itself, which I guess I'll just put here for a moment. And then the only other thing in the box is the instructions underneath and the different sizes of ear tip. And they're pretty darn easy to put on or off, which I like too, because sometimes they're a little tricky, but I think Beyerdynamic's got that all figured out, so that's good. So I'm going to put the case to the side, and I'll put it here. And so now let's go back to this. And so it actually has on the labels left and right, so it's easy to orient it. I guess you'd also be able to tell, because if you're feeling for the power button and it's just not there, then you realize you have it the wrong way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put them in, and that's easy enough. And I'm going to turn it on by pushing the button on the neck piece for a couple of seconds, and So now I have it working, and it told me battery high, which means I have up to 14 hours of playback time. And 10-minute charge will give you 2 hours. How do you charge it? On the right-hand side of the piece that goes around your neck, there's a USB-C port. So that's what you plug that cable into so you can charge it. Easy enough. Now, since it's on, it should have automatically paired with my phone, since I have actually tried them before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn on recording so you can see what I see, and we're going to start with the MIY app. So now this lets me actually manage and control the headphones or the in-ear headset. So one of the things I can do with it is I can adjust the ANC. You can see that's pretty straightforward, and it's super snappy. I can see the charge level. It's at 90%. You see that on the top right. And then where it gets fun is you can go to different equalizing settings. I actually really like the V-shape sound. I'll come back to the sound in a second. But you can also personalize this. And I'm not going to go through the process. It takes a good few minutes. But the idea is it's going to run essentially a hearing test for you. And then it will adjust its EQ to balance out what you can hear really well and the frequencies that you don't hear so well. So it'll compensate for that and give you the best possible personalized sound. That is definitely something worth doing. And then once you have that, as you can see in that slider, you can go all the way personalized. You can do it a little bit of your personalized EQ. You can just sort of mess around and play with this to figure out the best actual listening experience. It keeps some statistics. You can choose voice assistant. You can change the language for voice prompts, side tone, and then probably the software revision and such. That's probably one of the most important things, is that it can actually make sure that you have the latest version of the firmware, which is always important. So that's the MIY app, and it's for Android or iPhone. So now let's go to voice memos. And what I want to do is I want to just let you hear the audio it picks up, because it does a really good job. So what we're going to do is, you're now hearing my voice as picked up by the Beyerdynamic Blue Byrd ANC in-ear headset. And I think you'll agree with me, it sounds really good. Considering there's no like boom mic in front of my mouth or something, this is entirely functional. In fact, this design generally is really great for phone calls, because they're going to sound really good and you're going to sound really good. Now, let me turn this off and turn off my recording. And so there's a lot to like here. It's a very well designed, very well engineered device. And we should talk about the sound. And I'll tell you, the sound's really pretty darn good. But especially when I went into the app and I went to that V-shape EQ setting, then all of a sudden the music just had more presence to it, a bigger sound stage. It's a very pleasant sound reproduction. I was, yes, listening to Steely Dan. I know it's a little cliche, but it's a really bunch of well-engineered music, and it just sounded terrific with these. It's not an enormous sound stage, but it's really nice, and they're very comfortable. So this makes these a really good option for commuting, a really good option for working at school, or if you just want to be out gardening or doing sports or washing your car. All of that, these are perfect for, because you can't lose an earbud. They stay in. It's very comfortable. If you get a phone call, you can literally just push a button on this multifunction controller, and then you're talking to the person and they're going to hear you perfectly well. So there's a lot to like here, and it's at a pretty solid price point. So not much else I can share with you here in terms of the device and its build and its sound reproduction and its microphone. You've got to hear some of it. They're definitely ones worth checking out, and the ANC is pretty solid too. I tried it with some background noise in my own environment, and it did a pretty good job of getting rid of all that noise. But again, if you have your music and you turn it up to not a crazy volume, and these get pretty loud, but even just to a medium volume, and you have ANC on, then you really can tune out and just focus on the music and not be aware of anything around you, which can be a little dangerous if you're outside doing exercise. So be aware of your surroundings. But otherwise, lots to like here, definitely ones to check out. Now, let's talk about the price. But before we get to the price, I'm going to invite you to subscribe to my channel. Click or tap on that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up or a like if you found this helpful and interesting. I do appreciate that. And let's talk about the price. So these are the Beyerdynamic Blue Byrd ANC in-ear headset, and they're $149 at beyerdynamic.com. I expect they will come to Amazon and other sites if you prefer to go through something like that. But you can also just go to Beyerdynamic and get them straight from the source, and these are a really solid option. And I really like this design with the around the neck, and because it's so flexible, it's easy to have it in a relatively small space, which is important because like this, it looks like that's a lot of, wire and stuff to carry around, but you can easily tuck it into this travel case and put it in your pocket or in your purse or your computer bag or whatever. So lots to check out, lots to like. I think I might go back to Steely Dan, so you can make fun of me in the comments as necessary, but I will hope to catch you in my next video.